Hello, everyone. We're back with Ken Dombrowski, executive life coach and master hypnotist. And we recently released a video about the different types of narcissism. And we talked a lot about the victim narcissist as played by the role of a woman and a mother specifically. Now we want to talk about a male in the victim narcissist role and what that looks like versus a female.
Well, that's definitely something we're seeing more and more of. It used to go with masculinity, a man would tend to be the grandiose, bossy, bravado type of narcissist.
Alpha
male, that kind of thing, exactly. Where women would traditionally be more the victim, covert, stealth type narcissist. But we're getting all this crossover now. The rules, they're really kind of diluting all the time. They're just not there anymore. And we both know someone in particular, a man in his mid to late 30s, who is absolutely, he runs a cycle of different narcissists in like a 24-hour clock. It's really amazing to watch. Actually, it's devastating. It's destructive to the people around him, but it is still, for me as a behaviorist, it's really incredible to witness, even though I don't like it. So, there's this one individual, this one man who we both know him, where he would one day be the bravado, macho, narcissist man, where he's talking tough shit. I'm Mr. Badass. I'm tough guy. Look at my muscles. Look at my six-pack abs. All bragging about how much weight he can lift in the gym and all this kind of stuff. And then just a couple hours later, if he's not getting his way, well, what do you think he turns into then?
Victim narcissist.
The victim narcissist, exactly. So the victim narcissist is now going to deflect everything. And he's usually going to deflect the things that he has done onto other people to make it look like they're victimizing him. So we watched this go over this evolution. It was really fascinating. And then there's one thing you always notice. There's never an apology for their awful behavior. No matter the horrible things that they might say to you that are horribly offensive and destructive, never once will you hear an apology.
But you'll hear an excuse right on deck.
Boom. Always an excuse, locked and loaded, ready to go, ready to fire.
Which is where the victimization comes in, because it's always an excuse to fully excuse the behavior that you're not supposed to be able to fight or struggle with. Mm-hmm. It's going to be, oh, well, I have this mental issue, or this happened to me in my childhood, or whatever else. There's always a reason as to why they can act like that and you cannot respond negatively, at least.
And as soon as you do, you put up with a lot of their crap stacking up and you have just one small response. Now they're going to take that and inflate it into you're the most horrible person that's ever lived. I've never been treated that way before. I can't believe that you would talk to a person that way. You're horrible. You're Satan. You're Hitler's reincarnation. I mean, you are the worst thing ever. But you might look at it and think, well, what I said was just pretty ordinary and mundane. All I did was call attention to, that I don't like something. I don't like the way you're treating me, or I don't like what you did. And they just explode with it.
And that's kind of just a victim narcissist on a grandiose scale. That's at that point combining the two, if you ask me, because usually it is accompanied by a Facebook blast or anything else. Even though they may not be naming names, they're alluding to a specific group of people, and you're meant to kind of get the digs, and you're meant to side with them.
And you use the perfect word. I love that, alluding. They usually don't call it out specifically, like on a Facebook post. They're not going to say, name a person. This person is this. They're going to go in a generalized, around the block kind of I can't believe what I've experienced in my life. I have people in my life that are just so abusive and taking me for granted and trying to control and manipulate me.
And they're narcissists. And
they're the first one to call out a narcissist. And, it's just really simple. The first one who calls it is usually the one who is the narcissist. I mean, unless you're a behaviorist like me, then of course that's my job to identify it. But, other than that, so like this one person that we're talking about, because he's still a man, he would flip-flop really quick from the victim narcissist to the machismo narcissist back to victim, because I guess his his masculinity wouldn't let him stay in that victim place. So this guy would literally be telling you about how awesome he is. He's got this motorcycle, and I have a $1,200, the best, that state of the art, top of the line, $1,200 helmet to save my head. I have a $2,000 custom built jacket with steel plates lining it to protect me in a crash. $2,000 motorcycle jacket. And I'm going to tell you about how I get on my motorcycle. I do 120 miles an hour. It's really great. It's exhilarating. It clears my head and all this stuff. So there's the macho part. But then, as soon as there's a disagreement, tears will start coming down his face. Literally, I've watched this man in his mid-30s just start crying in the middle of a room of people, consume the room, doesn't care who's there. There's no embarrassment to a narcissist with what they do. And just start talking about, well, I'm just going to run my motorcycle into a block wall at 100 miles an hour. It's always alluding one more time because they're not getting what they want from someone. It's usually going to be the person who's closest to them, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, parent, child, whoever it is that they have all this control over. And if they're not getting what they want from them, and it could be something stupid and small that means next to nothing to everybody else, but they're using that as their point of contention to get what they want. And if they don't, they start threatening suicide. They'll start talking about, well, you remember I was suicidal, right? Remember, and this is something else he did. Did you ever hear the stories about him talking about when he was suicidal?
I tried not to listen at a certain point, to be honest.
So this particular individual, he would talk about when he was in his teens and 20s about how suicidal he was and that he attempted suicide a couple of times. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to be a jerk. I feel for everybody. I'm sorry for whatever happened to him that made this happen. But at the same time, we all have the ability to lift ourselves up and do something with those negative experiences. Unfortunately, more and more people are choosing narcissism. It's a subconscious driven thing. They're not conscious saying, well, I'm just going to be an asshole to everybody.
Right.
They don't do that. They're just compelled to be that way. And they think that everything they're saying and doing is right in the moment.
Also, I'm not particularly sure that bringing up something that happened half your lifetime ago, such as suicide, makes any sense. Because if you're still in that headspace, that's just kind of insane, to still be talking about something that you attempted 17 years ago, that you should have stopped talking about it 16 years ago in my head, because it shouldn't relate to your everyday life now unless you're still on that playing field. But clearly you're not if you're still here, So
Well,
I think that's weird too.
Here's what you have to gain. This is where this stuff keeps on going further and further down, deeper and deeper, so complicated, so complex. If I tell you that I have been suicidal in my life, I have attempted suicide a couple of times, I'm putting you now on formal notice of the tender state that I am capable of being in. So you, as a human being, are going to automatically treat me differently because you're afraid of triggering me into another suicidal situation. It's just going to happen because you have empathy. So you're going to walk really softly and talk very specifically around me because you know that I'm capable of suicide or suicide ideology, suicide attempts. So guess what? If you and I were to have a disagreement and then I go and attempt suicide, that would be on you now.
I struggle with that, especially in today's society, just because I believe that it's kind of more widely done. You know what I mean? I don't know if it has to do with social media, which I think most mental health issues that people are encountering do have to do with social media, but it almost feels like more and more people are being open about feeling suicidal or having those thoughts or possibly attempting it, because it feels like it's almost the natural state now.
It's becoming way too common now. Yeah.
Which is why narcissism is evolving anyway, because people can't use the original ways to get attention anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like something like that. That's why I think that's where the attention comes in, because why are you talking about something that happened half your lifetime ago?
Mm-hmm.
That shouldn't have it. It can speak to who you are now, but it shouldn't come up as much as it does, because clearly at that point it's to make people sit in a space where they feel bad for you.
All good points. But here's what the narcissist is doing. They're sifting through people. Who can I get to feel sorry for me? So there's a room full of 6 people here, and I'm going to talk about how I was suicidal once. And a couple of people are going to walk away going, oh, this is ridiculous bullshit. I don't want to hear this guy's bullshit. And then there's going to be another person, a couple of people who are going to seem interested. Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, what happened? What? And then there's going to be one or two people that they're looking for who are going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe that. Oh my, you poor thing. Oh my gosh. I can't believe that happened to you. I can't believe it. You're so homeless. So that's what they're looking for. So they're going to use this as a way of sussing out who can I control and manipulate with my stories and who am I not. So they're not going to waste their time with the people that they already found out that just walked away. They don't care about them. I can't get anywhere with them, but I can get somewhere with this one.
It's probably also important to note that narcissists don't need control over everyone. They just need full control over at least one individual.
All they need is at least one. You're absolutely right. They don't need friends. They don't need family. They need one person that they're going to have control over.
Which, I mean, obviously there are plenty of narcissists that want it over a group versus just one individual.
Mm-hmm.
But to be considered a narcissist and classified, it only takes one person.
Mm-hmm. Good conversation. Good point. Because the lines are so blurred. It's no longer masculine, feminine. It's just whatever works. What can I make work today?
Thank you so much for that conversation. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.